Hi, my name is Peter Burton. I haven't done this for 20 years, so bear with me. I'm a socialist. I'm a member of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, which is a campaign that was set up in 2014 during the first Russian invasion of Ukraine. The campaign is there to make international workers' solidarity with Ukrainian workers and Ukrainian workers' organisations and trade unions. There's a section of the left that's not really into this campaign. It's tragic that they're not. It means their numbers are diminished. They see the world in pro-NATO or anti-NATO terms. It's a very closed, false belief system. You can distrust NATO, but also be quite clear about where the blame lies for this, that it is with Russian aggression and Russian imperialism. They say in meetings, what about Afghanistan? What about what's going on in Yemen? What about NATO? What about NATO expansion? And the latest one this week is what about the cost of living crisis? And what they mean by that is why we're not building cost of living protests instead of protests in solidarity with the Ukraine. It's shameful and it's dishonest. My reply to that is to have a few what-abouts of our own. What about a nation that was at peace, people going about their business just as we do, only a few weeks ago, only to be invaded for no good reason by Putin's army? What about Mariupol? It's theatre bombed with 300 people in it, the maternity hospital bombed, surrounded by the Russian army, people starving, people dying of dehydration because the Russian army has surrounded it and they can't get food and water. What about civilians leaving Kiev, being gunned down by the Russian army in retreat? What about Odessa burning? What about 10 million refugees who only a few weeks ago were living in peace and going about their daily lives? What about them? And what about the refugees who only a couple of days ago, women and children, trying to board a train and it was bombed with 50 people at least killed? And what about our Russian state media and Putin? Lies, propaganda, continually lying in propaganda about the reasons for going into Ukraine. They lied for weeks about their intentions to invade. Why are they lying and why is the propaganda there? It's there because if they told the Russian people the truth, the Russian people would never have accepted what Putin was doing and what he was going to do in the Ukraine. But exchanging whatabouts, that isn't where things are at. Where things are at, where the way forward is what the Portuguese firefighters did right away as soon as the country was invaded and organised a convoy of trucks of aid to the Ukraine. French trade unions now are organising a convoy of trucks, having consulted Ukrainian trade unions about what they needed. What about the British and Scottish dockers who right away stopped Russian oil tankers offloading their oil? That's what it's all about. What about Belarusian rail workers who are blocking the railway lines into Ukraine from Belarus because they know the importance of solidarity? They're risking life and limb in doing so. Some of them have been killed, but they keep on doing it. What are those workers' actions about? What are we doing here today? What are they doing down demonstrating in London today? What it's about is solidarity. It's not what about something else. It's all about solidarity. I'll finish on this point. The Ukrainian people have got a right to determine their own future, free for interference from everybody, from Russia, from France, from Germany, America, wherever that pressure comes from. The whole of that territory is their territory. The Russians have got no legitimate claim to eastern Ukraine, historically or now. The vast majority of people, including the ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine, don't want to live under Putin. Why would you want to live under Putin? You've got no rights, no civil rights, there's no democratic elections. If you challenge any abuses of power, you're put in jail for 15 years. People don't want to live under that. And they've got no rights in terms of the eventual settlement that will take place. Final point, people in those circumstances who are oppressed, and as oppressed as you can be, have got a right to resist. And resistance should be effective resistance. For it to be effective resistance, it has to be armed resistance. You can't fight the might of the Russian army with your feet and your hands. You need arms. Okay, they're getting arms, but they're not getting enough arms, and they're not getting the kind of arms that they'll need to make sure they win the war. And winning the war is the only way that there will be a self-determination for the Ukrainian people in the future. Solidarity with Ukrainian workers, solidarity with Ukrainian people. Slava Ukraine!